Florabella on my screen. Her smile, it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night, recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Battles got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feed, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
Hold on, y'all. Was the music skipping? Hold on, I'm gonna put it down and leave it on, but is the music skipping for y'all? For some reason it's coming in all ghetto. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Happy Friday. I missed you guys. It's really been months. It's been months. I mean, I've been busy. I've been working, doing things, saving up. But I'm back, y'all. I'm back. What's new? Let me just shut this music off real quick because it was skipping on my end, so it was kind of giving me a little panic attack. But if you guys can hear me and I can hear you, then we good. Just let me know in the chat, guys. I know chat's moving. We're doing things. It's not skipping. Okay, that's really good. I appreciate it. Empress. Hello. Happy Friday. Hello. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me today. Yes, she's got that power. That power band. Yes. So, guys, I'm here tonight because I'm back to doing content. Okay, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more frequently. Let's just say my schedule is gonna be a little bit differently going forward. So, hopefully, we can get on a schedule that works for you and that works for me. But I will have a lot much more time for that. So, tonight I'm going to get into a few different concepts today, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that everything that we're talking about here today is just my opinion, right? It's my opinion. I'm not a professional. I am not a police officer. I don't work in government. I don't do any of that, but I'm just here to talk to you guys from the perspective of someone with a criminology and criminal justice degree, right? That's where I'm coming from. So hopefully you guys will enjoy my takes on the different subject that we're going to be talking about today. So one of the first ones that I do want to talk about, and I want to get into it quickly, right? Because that's what y'all are here for. You're here for content. You're here to hear something. You're not just here to, be in my face or tell me I'm pretty, right? You're here for content. So that's what we're gonna get into. Black Beauty said, "Hey Flo, where the hell have you been, girl? Work is so busy, life is so busy. I'm going back to school. There's so much going on, and so like trying to manage that with YouTube is crazy. So I'm definitely getting a better balance now, but I've just been living, trying to get where I need to get in life, go where I need to go in life, stay on top of things. I mean, that's really it. I wish I could have dedicated more time to YouTube. Honestly, I wish I could, but I've had to shift things around, and so hopefully that will help me free up some time to do content. Excuse me, more regularly, not be so exhausted and things like that. So thank you all, or like seriously, thank you all for sticking by my channel even when I disappear, right? Because it doesn't happen a lot. I try to be here, I try to be consistent, but it does happen sometimes because life takes over. Right, there's so much life going on outside of YouTube, and I'm sure all of you understand that because we're all living in the same world. Um, I'm going to go ahead and block you. I don't know why the trolls are in here so much tonight. I'm going to go ahead and block you. Um, but yeah, so that's where I've been, boo. That's where I've been. But I'm back. I'm gonna try and be consistent. I'm gonna continue to try and do my style of content, which really is to just give my opinion as somebody with the frame of knowledge that I have as a criminology criminal justice major, as well as my experience in forensic environments, things like that. So that's where I'm coming from it. I'm not trying to be that gender war channel. I'm not trying to get on here and like, oh, Manosphere. I was tagging Manosphere last year a couple times, right? I know. I was pulling their little tails and their little toes, and they were really mad about it, right? But that is not the basis of my content. I really want us to talk about crime and psychological theory and how those things all kind of play together. A lot of people don't realize that they do. They think people just commit crimes because they're evil. A lot of times, sure, that might be true. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes there's a pattern of thinking that kind of leads a person down a path in life. And a lot of times there's signs, there's things that you can know. And so I feel like that plays a lot more into crime theory, like why people do things. I mean, it does. It really does. And people don't kind of look at it that way, but it really does. Our mind can be a weapon or it can be an asset, right? Where we actually it helps us elevate us to better levels of ourselves, to be more profitable, whatever, right? But it can also be a hindrance. It can also cause us to be sick and to do and think things that are not positive, that are harmful to others, harmful to ourselves as well. So, I think the mind is that kind of double-edged thing where it can be a weapon and it can also be something that really, really enriches your life and benefits you. And I think a lot of times it's easier for people to learn how to weaponize their mind, right? To kind of allow themselves to justify all types of things, behaviors, mindsets, lifestyles, and things like that. So, anyways, that's where I'm coming from. I just wanted to make sure I gave you guys a little heads up about that as we're coming back in and I'm trying to reestablish myself as a content creator. But yeah, let's continue though. We're going to talk about Alpine divorces. And again, this kind of ran through, this kind of like, bumped across my desk. Um, earlier this week I was watching another content creator and they were talking about the Alpine divorces, and I was like, I've never heard of this. This is an interesting thing. And then I realized that there was actually a real world example connected to this that kind of fueled the conversation to begin. All right, so we're going to kind of talk about Alpine divorces, but we're going to start by reading an article because I do think sometimes we kind of get the backstory a little bit better than if we just jump into some video that somebody's talking about it. All right, so let's get into it. Alpine divorces. So apparently, there's this horrifying dating term going viral, and every dater needs to be aware of it. Right? This is what USA Today is saying. The internet is abuzz right now with the term Alpine divorce. It happens when a couple goes on a date out in nature, think a hike, camping trip, or bike ride, and then one abandons the other in the wilderness to fend for themselves. I mean, really. What happened to good old fashioned ghosting? What happened to just not responding? Ghost her. What happened to ghosting? I mean, this honestly was a frightening revelation because I was like, okay, men ghost, they do all these things, and now you can't even just break up with somebody regular. Here, I'm going to break up with you, but first, I'm going to put you in some sort of survivor environment, leave you there to fend for yourself. And this is me telling you, I never really liked you, anyways. So now survive the woods. I mean, just really an insane thing, honestly, But it came a buzz, right? A lot of people were talking about it. It was trending because there was a TikTok story that covered that story that happened in Austria, and I'm gonna go into that as well. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna talk about what happened in Austria, but this is how that terminology came to be. I had never heard about an Alpine divorce prior to hearing this person speak about it. I didn't even know it was a thing, but and it suddenly became this wildfire theory, kind of like conspiracy theories do online. Yeah, it's kind of just becoming that type of thing that people are talking about. Hey, Hassan. Yeah, no, I mean, like my thing is like, why do men have to just crash out? Why don't you just leave her, ghost her? I mean, the men of old, they would ghost you, they would leave you, they would tell you they're going to buy milk, they're going to buy cigarettes. I mean, now they're dropping you off in the forest. I mean, and then people want to ask my generation why we're not having. Do y'all do y'all see why? I mean, this is insane. I don't know how common it is, but I'm going to say this. Every time something comes out about men and how they act in relationships, there's always this cleanup crew. It's always a million articles of like, oh, this bizarre internet trend. Okay, it's bizarre, but are men doing it? Are men actually choosing to end relationships via let me drop you off in the fucking wilderness? Because that's literally what this guy did that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video as well. Loaf of bread and a pack of cigarettes. I don't know what that means. Damn, really, you never heard of it? No, I've never heard of an Alpine divorce. I've never heard of an Alpine divorce until people were mentioning it to me after it was going viral on TikTok. So let's read into this here. So again, they take them out on this type of camping wilderness trip, and then they abandon the other in the wilderness to fend for themselves. It's a horrible form of abuse, experts say, and it's also not as uncommon as you might think. Stephanie Sarkis, a psychotherapist specializing in narcissistic abuse, among other mental health issues, says she's had clients who have unfortunately experienced this. She says an Alpine divorce can be deeply traumatic, causing immense mental and physical distress. I mean, why couldn't you just block me? Block me! Block me, ghost me, sleep with my best friend. I mean, do the traditional things that men do. But to go and drop somebody off in a forest and literally hope that they die or not make it out is insane. So yeah, this is going to set the internet ablaze because when I was a little girl, we they were literally shoving down our throat fucking Cinderella and Snow White and all these stories of being rescued by men just for us to grow up and find out that they are the greatest danger. I mean, I'm trying not to sound gender war-y, but it's like, what else do you think? You hear so many stories like this. You hear how the United States refuses to classify femicide as a gender related crime, right? You see all of that and you start to like wonder. Let's continue though. All right. So I've seen it a few times. Sarkis says for a lot of people, that's their worst fear: being in an environment where we don't have control over what's going on and being abandoned somewhere. I think we all have a fear of abandonment to different degrees. All right, she's getting in her psychobabble, right? But being out in an area that you do not know, where there's wildlife, where you could easily get lost, especially if it's unmarked, that's a real fear for people. I mean, it's not just a fear; that's a literal danger, right? The point of it sounds like the point of the Alpine divorce is, let me take you somewhere where I know it's going to be difficult and harmful for you, so I can really illustrate for you how much I don't like you, right? I don't like you so much that I'm going to put you in a bad position and you're going to have to find your way out of it. That's what that's communicating for me. For me, that's what that says. That says I really, really don't like you and I want to inconvenience you. And I would like to hurt you if I could. And so I'm going to take you to this forest and leave you there stranded because I don't want to be with you anymore. I mean, how selfish is that? It's insane. This is literal birth control. I'm sorry to say, people think Roe v. Wade and that's what's killing the babies. No, it is this right here. This right here. The reality of what we're dealing with in relationships with men, the reality of being with men, this is what's killing relationships. It is not fear mongering. It's not women getting online lying. It's the reality that we have to accept when we interact with men, is that this is how they deal with things. So why is everyone talking about Alpine divorce? So the USA Today says the term appears to take its origin from an 1800 short story called An Alpine Divorce by Robert Barr. The tale involves a man who attempts to murder his wife while the two are out hiking on a mountain. The term Alpine divorce has been getting newfound attention thanks to a recent viral TikTok in which a woman shares a video of herself alone out in nature. The video has over 19 million views, includes text that says POV, you go on a hike with him in the mountains, and he leaves you alone by yourself, and you realize he never liked you to begin with. Honey, you already knew that he didn't like you. You already knew that he didn't like you, but the world keeps trying to convince us that men are here to save us. They're our knight in shining armor. Sorry. Sorry to say, that's not the reality. That's a fairy tale. All of those movies and shows that they indoctrinated us with was so that we are not as suspecting of the reality of dealing with males. I'm sorry to say it. Maybe not every male, right? But the average. This is what we're getting. This is why the women back in the day who didn't have to work, right? Because we're always joking around and praising them, but that's why the women who don't have to work, who didn't have to work before, literally said, you know what? We're fighting against this because this is no luxury, right? We're getting attacked because he didn't make that much money today. We're getting attacked because he's in a bad mood. We're getting attacked. I mean, really. So this is a concept that goes back 100 years of men choosing to deal with women in such an irrational way. Leave, ghost them, block them, date their sister. I mean, like, there's so many things you can do to alienate yourself from a woman if that's what you want to do. But to take them to a place and put them in danger because you don't want to be with them anymore. I mean, I mean, who needs Roe v. Wade? I mean, I'm sure there's still some idiots out there who need it, right? But who needs those policies when the world is telling you not to have kids? We're telling you not to have kids. You're telling me that a man will go so far as to take your ass to the woods, leave you there with the hope that you die as a way of breaking up with you, instead of telling you they don't want to be with you, they don't like your personality, that you ain't shit. They'd rather drop you off in the woods and let you die. I mean, this is, who needs birth control? Like, Honestly, I read some of these stories and I'm just like, okay, I'm staying in this weekend again, and next weekend, and the weekend after that, I'm gonna stay home because this is what's out there. And the conspiracy theory in me is like, is this the depopulation agenda? Was it to make us really understand that these people, they don't want success, they don't want happiness, they don't want families and things in the world? That is literally the depopulation agenda right there. It's right there. You don't need nothing else. You don't need to de-sterilize people. You don't gotta do nothing. All you gotta do is guys is tell people what these men be doing when they don't want to be with you. They will take you to the woods, leave you for dead. And this man actually, the case that we're gonna talk about, she actually died because Anton Daniels had the nerve to take his funky foot, black, raggedy behind online and talk about this case and have all those mammies in the comment section talking about, oh, I don't believe her. I don't believe her. Honey, who cares? If it were up to you hoes, the community would be gone. Y'all would let it perish. Y'all let these men run amok and do whatever if it was up to some of you hoes who be in Anton Daniels' comments. But the fact that this is literally a sinister thing, like this is a diabolical thing that a person can do, and somebody like that would get online and be like, "Oh yeah, see, look at what these men are doing when they don't want to be with y'all anymore. See, women, fix your attitude." That is not a fix your attitude type of thing. This is a stay away from these men type of thing, and that's what they don't understand. Um, I missed some comments. Hey, no chaser. Hey, Dita, how you doing today? Michael Foster says fighting for women's rights. I mean, listen, we wouldn't have to fight for it if y'all wasn't trying to yank them out of our hands. Hey, Joshua. Michael Stanford says, I think you would make a pretty baby. Listen, there's lots of pretty babies out there that are dying, that are without useful or caring parents. It's not about bringing a pretty baby into the world. It's about bringing a baby that somebody's going to care for and raise and teach and try to help. Like, I mean, it's not just about how the baby looks. And I think that's the problem. Everybody wants to bring in a bunch of pretty babies, with no daddies, no families, no homes, no nothing. We don't need that. Dita says they're crying about the birth rate, but would do this to women, but would to this to women rather than just leave them alone. Yeah, exactly. They would literally do. They would rather drop you off in the woods with the possibility that you will die than to just let you go. To just let you go because they don't want to be with you or because you're annoying or because what they thought you were isn't what you really are, right? They romanticize your personality and now they're over it. And instead of just accepting that, no, they want you to die. So they're going to take you to the woods and leave you there stranded and hope that you don't get out. See? Let me just take care of these trolls. The chat be trolling at this time of day. You know it'd be some dusty MFers in here at this time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please do, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. It's free. If you can like and share and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's continue reading the article here. So again, this is a 19 or 1800s kind of concept. There's that story by Robert Barr. I didn't read it personally, but I saw it on multiple pages. It's not scholarly, but it's like I think it's like some artistic form of like literature, where he literally talks about wanting to delete his wife on a hike so that he doesn't have to deal with everything. Okay, so the term Alpine divorce has been getting newfound attention thanks to a recent viral TikTok in which a woman shares a video of herself alone out in the nature. The video, which has over 19 million views, includes text that says POV. You go on a hike with him in the mountains and he leaves you alone by yourself and you realize he never liked you to begin with. You already knew he didn't like you. This is the part that I don't get. You knew he didn't like you. The problem is that we've been sold this idea of a knight in shining armor, Prince Charming, handsome man that's going to save us and protect us from all the dusties. I mean, this is what we've been sold. And so I think that women are coping. They're trying to understand the reality. And so when they see red flags and when they see signs of these men not really liking them and not really caring about them and not really being good partners, they will ignore all of that and continue to be with these men. Just to find out later that that man didn't want to be, that's why he left you in the woods. He didn't want to be with you. And he was too much of a coward to tell you that. He would rather leave you in the woods and say later, like, oh yeah, that's why I left her in the woods. I didn't want to be with her. And I imagine that's what has been happening. We're gonna look at this TikTok there in a second because that's one of the viral ones recently, but that's essentially what happened. Right? He didn't know how to tell her, I'm done with you. So he took her to the woods, he left her there. This is supposed to be the rational gender. Okay, I'm doing my little gaslighting bit, but this is supposed to be the rational gender. You're so mad, you're gonna go fucking leave me in the middle of the Alpines? And women are dramatic? And women are overly emotional? Please, miss me. I mean, this is insane. I've never read something so disturbing. And the name minimizes how this is attempted unaliving or unaliving. It definitely is attempted deletion, right? But they always got to give a little catchy name to these disturbing things that men do. All right, so we're gonna watch this video here because this is one of the TikToks that, like I said, set off this whole thing. Oh, sorry, it's taking us to the tab, and I would rather do. Hold on, let me just.
No, I'm not the lose gender. Yeah, let me. I should have never came with him.
So POV, you go on a hike with him in the mountains, but he leaves you alone by yourself, and you realize he never liked you to begin with. This is the thing about TikTok, right? With TikTok, I honestly think that the fact that people have access to social media like this is a great thing. Did I glitch for you guys? My computer is showing me a glitch. Did I glitch? Hallmark movie when it's really an ID channel episode. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Because you know that, like, she was mourning everything that she thought. Like, every belief and delusion that she fed herself, even when she knew, she's, like, mourning all that. She's like, wow, I made excuses for somebody or a situation that could have ended my life. So I do think that. Um, all right, I'm not even gonna acknowledge your comment, but let me go back to the beginning of this video here because again, this is from 218, so this is like very recent. This is like 10 days ago, 11 days ago, or whatever you want to call it. Um, very recent. And we talk a lot about relationships and love and romance online because that's what, like, people, that's the stuff that goes trending. Nobody wants to talk about like the issues of homelessness and femicide. Like, no, those aren't the conversations that go trending. So we spend a lot of time talking about relationships and things like this. And so this is one of the things that just kind of like TikTok got a hold of this video and they ran with it. And I'm not saying they were wrong for that. I'm just saying that sometimes we run with concepts before we've had the conversations about what this means, because he didn't just start disliking her that day, right? He's probably been treating her with disdain for a very long time. And because we tell ourselves these stories about men being our knight in shining armor, coming to save us, being those men who are going to take us away from misery and lift our lives up with purpose. That bullshit that they be feeding us from the time that we're little jits. Yeah, that's what women go and replay in their minds when they're going through trauma and suffering with men. They go back to the delusion, to the time when we believed that each woman was just sitting around waiting for her knight in shining armor to find that slipper that she dropped at midnight when she was leaving the club. Of course, Dita, he was. I promise you, he was mistreating her before this. There is just no way. Right? The signs don't pop out of nowhere. But when you're conditioned as a gender, right, as women, to believe that men are your knight in shining armor, they're gonna come and save you. They're gonna come from the woods and they're gonna just get you and they're gonna rescue you and they're gonna knock you up with a bunch of babies. They're gonna rip you open and you're gonna build a family. That's not what the fuck. That's not what the fuck's waiting for you on the other side. A lot of times on the other side, you're dealing with an ungrateful man, a relationship that doesn't satisfy. I mean, listen, I'm not here to tell you that women aren't satisfied out of being in relationships. I'm telling you that our ideas, our ideals, the internet, all of that has clouded our beliefs, our understanding of what love is, what relationships are. And we're just feeding into this random understanding that we got from the internet. Is this the man hate channel? Yeah, I knew y'all were gonna say that. No, this is not a man hate channel, but let's be real. None of you guys are gonna be like, you know what, that man in Austria, he was out of pocket. Like he was out of pocket. Like we gotta talk to the young man. None of you are gonna say that. None of you are gonna say that men and the conversations that they're having online are irrational. Yeah, we're taught to ignore our intuition from birth. Everything that we feel and see and believe, that we're taught to gaslight ourselves. No, you're just being overly emotional. That person isn't crossing your boundaries. That person isn't taking advantage of you. You're just being overly emotional. Yes, women are taught to gaslight themselves from the time that they're children. Everything we experience and see, we are taught to gaslight ourselves. If only we could be lucky enough to meet people in our family and our lives who are willing to help us see the truth and learn from it and evolve and not be scared of it. It's the realistic channel. I don't know what these people. I mean, these people are really they're losing their tail feathers. What do girls have to offer a man today? The fact that you're asking that tells me that that's your problem right there. That's your problem. You think the women in the 1950s were telling men, "This is what I bring to the table: my uterus, my youth, all my free time, all my baking skills. I'm literally being bartered off of my family. That's what I bring." Like that was not a thing. But the fact that today men will literally get up here and be like, "No, well, what's the purpose of women today? What do you have to offer a woman?" That has literally never been we've never sat down as human beings and asked women, the life creators, the ones who literally birth you out of their canals, right? We've never had conversations like this where we're asking women what they have to offer. Women are intermediaries of life. I'm not trying to get on my whole, oh, let's talk about this, that. I'm not trying to get on that, but please, which one of your ancestors were asking women what they bring to the table? Please tell me. Because last I checked, your ancestors were being. Let me stop. Can you cook? Can your mama cook? And if she can't, I want to slap you. Since that's what you're going off of, right? Can she cook? Can your grandma cook? We can offer correct grammar. They don't want correct grammar though. Proper syntax. Why would they want literacy? They don't want that. We're getting trolls in here. I'm off in 20 minutes. I got my raid. You got to come in hot with the raid because there's a lot of roaches in here just saying anything. Is gaslighting the same as men peacocking? No, because gaslighting is, I'm going to tell you that your experience is not real, even though you're going through it. Peacocking is men literally trying to bolster themselves up and make themselves appear more. No, they don't have money. Dita was doing you guys the pleasure of asking you if you have money, and you do not have money. Don't worry about if I can cook, Mr. Stanford. Why are you in my business? My problem is, how are you guys going to deal with these men? Let me put it in. I'm gonna put it in the chat for y'all because I really want y'all to put your money where your mouth is. But seriously, why is this? Oh, I lost the chat. Okay, here we go. So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is what you're doing right now. You want to tell me my experience is not real, my understanding is not real. It's a woman thing. You women this, can you cook? Are you is there something to get out of listen. The fact that women birth you guys and you have the audacity to ask women that you're pursuing, it's insane. But when are you guys gonna deal with these Alpine? Why can't men just break up with women? When are you gonna deal with that?
Right now, I'm walking alone, changing because he can't let me by myself. I should have never came with him. Anytime you think about him, anytime you think about hanging out with him, do not go. I hate him so much. I feel so terrible. Like, this is the worst Saturday of my life. I could have been at home peaceful. I could have done work out of my house.
Now the people of Anton Lagoon Daniels channel, they reviewed this. And a lot of them are like, oh look, there's people walking by them. I don't care who walks by them. If I go with you on a hike and you disappear, and now people online are saying that I'm a liar because someone random happens to walk by in that hike, you realize how stupid that sounds? You're literally being left to the mercy of whoever pops up there. What if those people never went hiking that day? Yeah, it's easy to quote unquote survive a situation like this, but why can't you just tell someone you don't want to be with them? You don't want them. It's not difficult to say, hey, I'm not feeling you. You're not my kind, honestly. I'm gonna do this I'm gonna do this because I really true do believe that you guys really don't understand as men that you can just break up with somebody, right? You can just break up with her. Oh, hold on. Let me exit out of there. Sorry, guys. You could just break up with someone. It's easy. It's not difficult. It's not difficult to break. You could just tell someone. You could tell someone really something really normal. You could be like. You could be like, you know what? You could be like, hey, you're not my kind, right? I'm not interested in you. I don't want to be with you. I hate you. Your attitude sucks. I don't want to be with you anymore. There's so many things that it's easy to break up. It's easy to break up, Empress. It's so easy. It's so easy to break up. All you gotta do is be like, listen, I don't want you anymore. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to insult the person. It doesn't have to turn into a drag fest. All you gotta do, and they laid it out for you. They laid it out for you ninjas in the early '90s, right? Let her know, listen, you're beautiful. I like you. You're attractive, but me and you, we're not meant to be. You're not my kind. They hate conflict, but they rather live in pain. I mean, that's an oxymoron, right? Because if you don't want conflict, you're going to do what you need to do to avoid conflict, right? Let's talk it out. Let's get on the same page so that I don't hurt you and you don't hurt me. You're not my kind. I don't want to be with you. Maybe there's things that you do that tick me off. Maybe you have a different understanding of life, of relationships, of family. You have different boundaries than me. That's all you have to say. You don't have to go and take somebody to the woods. The fact that men would rather take a woman to the woods and leave her there and be like, you know what, this is me communicating that I don't want to be with you. And you should get it. That's what's really insane to me. Like it's really crazy. It's really crazy, and that's the part that really upsets me more than anything else. That you can't just tell someone like, "Hey, I don't want to be with you." I miss the days that people used to ghost. I would rather that a man ghost a woman than to do this. Ghost her. Don't ever text her back. Leave it on red too. You read every message she sends you, don't respond. But to take her and do like this is insane. Well, Mr. Stanford, hopefully we can connect who you are from your YouTube account and the police can take care of you before I need to do anything because honestly, it's insane. You know, it's insane to me that people would rather go to these type of lengths than to communicate and be like, "Hey, I don't like you. I don't want you around. We don't get along well. I would rather hurt you than to just leave you be." Like I'm trying to be silly, but this is craziness. Communication is key in a good relationship. Yeah. I mean, it's literally the cornerstone of a good relationship. Sorry, guys. This chair needs WD-40. Hey, nah, for real, though. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me get on my regular chat so I can distribute some materials. Let me see here. Did he bury her there? No. The problem is he left her. He didn't actually hurt her, right? Like physically touch her or hit her. It's similar to neglect, right? I'm not going to actually try to kill you. I'm just going to leave you stranded where um you're not it's difficult for you to survive. Where your life might be at risk. Or I'm going to put you in a position where your life is in danger. Not for real. Why can't I see? You must be on the regular stream. Let me get over there real quick. Actually, I don't know how to get over there. Not for real. Go to my the vertical stream so I can give you a wrench. It must be demon night. Yeah, it is. It's Friday. I mean, nothing was funny about what you said though, Michael Stanford. I really hope that okay, maybe you guys will sit here and try to act like Alpine divorce is not a thing, but I really hope that the men that you interact with, the friends that you have that are young men, that you actually talk to them. Yeah, he deserted her in dangerous terrain. It's the same thing. He doesn't have to punch, kick, shoot, slap her if he's gonna do that. Yeah, the providers and protectors are at it again. So I'm saying they be BSing. They be BSing. They be BSing. They don't really. None of that stuff is real. Like the whole men are protectors and providers. That's their role as men in society. That's not a real thing. Like there's men who buy into that, and then there's the rest of the world. If someone nagging makes you delete them, again, you have no place in society. You need help. Okay, not for real. I got you now. There you go. They would rather go this route. All right, let's move on to the next story. We kind of talked a little bit about Alpine divorces, what they are. Before I move on, I do want to read this article though, guys, really quickly because I do think when it comes to these social media um like trending stories nowadays, it's a lot easier for people to try to make it like, oh, this is like some irrational stuff online. But there's a real life connection to this. Okay, there's a real life connection because, again, like I mentioned, people started talking about Alpine divorces because of what happened to this woman in Austria. right? She was dating a
It
man
can
who
happen.
A man convicted
she was dating a man who, I mean, ultimately they say he was convicted after bad decisions, but really he did calculated things that led to her death. So we're gonna look at the real life example of this case here. I really don't try to come on here and do like, oh, we're gonna just make up, act like things are more serious than they are. This is a real thing. Women are going through this. Femicide is a real issue, right? We're literally dying as a result of our gender and our attachment to men. So let's get into this case.
of leaving his girlfriend to die on Austria's tallest mountain has appealed a manslaughter charge in court. A coroner's report found the 33-year-old woman died of hypothermia after her partner, who was an experienced climber, abandoned her in the middle of a severe storm. Let's get more details from mountaineering journalist Owen Clark. Now, Owen, can you talk us through both sides of the story? What were the prosecution and defence arguing?
Well, the case centered on a principle in Austrian that roughly translates to guiding as a favor or guiding as a courtesy. And effectively, the prosecution's argument was that the man, Planberger, as the more experienced of the two climbers and the one who planned the trip, was responsible for what occurred on the mountain and was acting as a de facto guide. And as part of that, they'd laid 10 separate charges against him for specific decisions that he made on the mountain that were considered negligent. On the other hand, the defense's argument was that the pair were equal partners and they'd planned the trip together, had a similar skill level, and thus, one wasn't any more responsible for the other. And that was the defense they were giving for Thomas Planberger.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on some of the charges?
Yeah, they ranged one from starting too late to choosing that route in particular, to specific decisions made about how they climbed it, how the belay worked, how the route was protected, and then also regarding how he dealt with emergency services during the process of once the storm occurred. He failed to call promptly. He failed to make clear calls. He didn't respond to return calls from rescue services. And then when he left his partner, he didn't cover her up. He didn't place her in a bivy sack or a sleep.
And let me just say this. Your partner is in distress and she sends you to go get help and you don't answer your phone right away. You just kind of go on about your afternoon like nothing happened, literally evading the police, really, because you don't want to give them information. This is exactly what it looks like. He specifically made decisions that led to her death, right? That's what he's ultimately charged for, whether they're going to say it plainly or not. Yeah, just because these things happen doesn't mean anything, right? It's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. That's why we're talking about it. That's why it went trending overnight, because it's happening to women. And this is what really this is like really what gets under my skin in terms of not talking about the things that women go through and like having these crimes that we understand specifically happen to women because they are biological women who are dealing with men. Like, that really bothers me. Femicide is a real thing. Globally, the fact that the rest of the world talks about this and then we act like it's not a thing, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, especially living in a new age where we're getting information all the time, and this is what this is.
Bag or something that might have protected her from the wind and cold. So there was a range of charges that started from,
Yeah, right? Even the police were like, okay, she sent you for help, but you didn't even try to preserve the good condition that she was in. You left her out. Like, it takes the court to see that. No, he willfully left her stranded with no way to survive. For you to say, oh, she told me to go get help in a storm in this weather, and to leave her uncovered and literally in the worst position that she can possibly be while she is feeling the way she is, if she was sick or whatever he was trying to claim. I mean, this is crazy that we're not willing to say, hey, women, by the way, when Warner Brothers or whoever created this movie about Cinderella or Snow White or Beauty and the Beast, right? He wasn't talking about what you're really going to go out there and deal with. In reality, This is a reality. Yeah, she passed away. She did. She did. She passed away. I think it was premeditated as well, Empress, because your intention was for her to go out there with you so that you can leave her stranded. Whether you knew that it was going to lead to her deletion or not, that's what your actions did. So yes, it was premeditated. You planned to take her to the woods. You planned to leave her stranded, and what caused her death ultimately was the fact that you left her stranded. So yes, I would say premeditation as well. I don't think you guys even understand what premeditated means. He thought about it. He thought about what happened, and in reality, he said, "You know what? I want her. I want her to have to do X, Y, Z." He thought about that. He said, "I'm gonna call her with the intention that she comes here. We get into a little spickle spackle." It's premeditated. And that's the thing. They want us to believe this is a heat of the moment is something you do right there. You planned to take her to the hike, to the woods, to leave her there to pass. That was your plan. You premeditated that. Whether you could tell by your actions that she would let end up dead or not, it was premeditated. Your actions were premeditated. But men are so pathological and psychological, like literally psychopathic that they're not going to see this. He wanted her to suffer. Yes, that's why. That's why he wanted to leave her in the woods. That he wanted his actions to tell her that I hate you. I'm mad at you. I don't like you. You did something I don't like. You illustrated something or someone I don't like, and so this is what I'm going to do to you as a result. Yes, it absolutely is. He could have broken up with her. He could have blocked her. He could have ghosted her. He could have did so many things, but he chose violence, literally. He said, "You know what? I'm going to pretend like everything's all good. Honey, let's go on a hike. Let's go climb this 700-foot mountain up here that might kill us when I actually hate you and I'm mad at you." That's absolutely premeditated. That's what this was. That's what it is. And I think people are afraid to say that because then they're going to have to admit that women are not being over exaggerative by not wanting to date, by not wanting to participate. If this is the end result, are they are they wrong for not wanting to be in relationships or telling other women not to get pregnant or telling other women to get abortions or to literally not even have sex with them? Let's continue.
Choosing that route in the beginning to how the route was climbed throughout the day to the moment that he left.
Well, there were some surprises in the trial, which was presided by a judge. One of them was that the deceased climber's mother testified, saying her daughter's boyfriend shouldn't be blamed for the death.
That's correct. Yeah, that was a big
Yeah,
surprise. There were
and
quite
this
a
is
few, actually.
it shouldn't be a surprise because mammies have existed from the beginning of time. From the beginning of time, they've always found a woman who's willing to run in front of the bullet for a man who would do something like this. We see it all the time. I could care less. Same with the black community. Not gonna say nothing. Same with them. They'd be saying, "Oh, I forgive X, Y." I don't forgive nothing. I don't forgive and I don't forget. How do you forgive somebody who for no good reason deleted someone you love? You don't. But they love to talk about when these family members, who a lot of times they didn't even know what those people were going through, what they were suffering through. They're the first ones to get up on here and be like, "Oh, I forgave him. I forgave him." Who gives a fuck? They're still like, I don't care if you forgive them. They're still not ready to go out into society. But that's one thing I see a lot of cases like this. I see a lot of cases where they literally want to be like, "Oh, well, the mom forgives him, the aunt forgives him." Fuck all of that. I don't care I don't care if Jesus came down and said, I forgive you myself, himself. Let's continue though.
So everybody was surprised to see that. There was also, information during the trial that the woman Kirsten had dialed a three-digit number, 149, which is one digit away from the Austria's number for Mountain Rescue Services. And there was no explanation for exactly, why she would have dialed this three-digit number. She dialed it early evening, probably about the time when things were starting to go kind of wrong. And she didn't make a return call to this number, but shortly after she sent that call, she texted her mom, "We're down," from the mountain. And Blamberger, the defendant, claimed he had no knowledge of this call or this text. It's unclear exactly why she did this, and she may not have been attempting to dial Mountain Rescue, but it's a little suspicious. And local media was aware of some of this leading up to the trial, but there was also an interesting, information that came out about where her body was found. The defendant claimed that he left her on top of the mountain on relatively flat terrain near the summit. But when rescuers found Kirsten's body, it wasn't in a secure place on flat ground. It was actually on what climbers call the final pitch of the route. So it was on vertical terrain. She was hanging from a rope, still in her harness, not in a safe or secure position at all. And that contradicted very heavily to what he'd originally told rescuers. And then finally, another witness that testified as a surprise was one of his ex-girlfriends. And she had a remarkably similar story to tell about how he'd done the same thing to her on the same mountain about 2 years before. So they'd been on a trip to the same peak in the summer, and they had an argument, and he'd left her on the mountain, and she'd had to find her way down alone. So that was pretty damning testimony that I think nobody expected.
And how
And here's the thing, he's not actually doing anything violent. Right? He's not physically pushing her. He's not raging out and screaming or yelling, right? He's literally just leaving her to the elements. That's the danger as well, because he understands the danger in that. I'm sorry, not for real. Thank you for being vulnerable in the chat. Um, I appreciate it. But that's the reality. This is what women are dealing with. And instead of being a little bit more real about what's leading to this, how to tell when you're in a relationship with someone who really doesn't like you, who doesn't want to be with you, helping women to identify when they're in negative, toxic relationships, kind of talking about that teen dating violence, that early dating violence, all of the things that we used to do. We're not doing it. We're just showing people random stuff online and being like, hey, yeah, this is DV. This is violence. This is we're not even telling people like, hey, these are the signs. As a parent, this is the sign that your child is going through. This is the sign that your child might be doing it. This is a sign that this is what might be going on in your child's relationship. There was so many more PSAs before the internet was Instagramized, is what I'll call it. So many more PSAs on YouTube. Now it's literally a bunch of fooey. Literally no information that actually serves you. You really got to go digging for that stuff. Yeah, he eventually was convicted. So what we ended up finding out was that he didn't actually punch, hurt, kick, or do anything like that, right? Like these evil demonic men like to say. He simply left her to the elements. He disliked her so much that he was okay with leaving her out to fend for her own life, essentially. Yeah, we need way more PSAs. I'm telling you, we need to be airing out PSAs on every live Instagram feed, every feed that somebody has scrolled in the last 2 seconds. We need to have DV, STDs, um, all of that. We got to have PSAs for everything that people need to be on like high alert for. Because it's easy to say, oh, the world is healed. We all know, we understand. But we really don't. Yeah. That's a big part of it, right? They always say, each one teach one. You can only take care of your own people. Yes, that's part of it. But this is where, as a community, people have to step in. If you see somebody who is not getting the information, that they're vulnerable, that they're out there putting themselves out there, you're supposed to step in as a community member and be like, hey, listen, I know you don't know me, you have no reason to really trust me, but how you're kind of stepping out there, and it's not a good look. It might put you at harm, at risk of being hurt. Nobody's gonna look at you wrong for saying that. The problem is when people feel like they have some little bit of information, they want to throw it in people's face, and now nobody can talk. They don't even know how to talk to young people today. But young girls need to know about all types of abuse, every kind, emotional. Gabby Petito. There was another girl. I forget her name. I think their names were they were married as well, or Gabby Petito might have not been married yet, but engaged. The other girl ended up actually getting married. I forget their last name. It was like Ferrera or Farrett or something like that. But pretty much that couple, they also went out on a van life type situation. He did the same thing. Took her out in the middle of the woods, deleted her, came back home without her, wouldn't answer questions, just because it kind of wasn't really out there about what was going on, was very elusive to the police, and then they found out that he was involved in it. But yeah, do I think girls like Gabby Petito saw PSAs or had a lot of conversations about dating violence, teen dating violence, young dating? Because that was happening when people were teenagers. But no, I don't think these PSAs, these conversations are not happening anymore. People think because we have the internet that we're all smart now. Everybody knows everything. No one needs to be taught. No one needs to be talked to. Young people don't need to be guided anymore. We have the internet. We have Google. Just ask Google, right? But wrong, right? That's why there's a lot of people who don't understand when they're in danger. They don't understand when they're at risk. Or become a nun, Empress, right? That still sticks with me. And I really try to think about it because what's the alternative to telling girls to become a nun, right? Telling them to take a risk on these young men today? No. Nobody's gonna tell these young women, yes, take a risk on these young men. Start families young. Invest in them. Give your youth. No one's